Okay, my name's Zakashi guys, and in this video here I'm going to be giving you some advice. This is especially for the newer players, but even if you are a player who's been playing the game for a while, these tips will definitely be useful to you so you can improve your PvP game. These are 5 big things that if you apply them to your game immediately, you will see big changes in your results and you'll just be thinking, what the hell, why did I not know this before? So hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this video, man. If you haven't already, make sure to press that subscribe button. We're on this grind to 50,000 subscribers. And just before we get into this video, I want to point out that this video is going to have nothing to do with team formation. It's going to be more strictly to how you actually play the game and techniques that you can apply to get one up on your opponent. Now I'm holding you guys up too long. Let's actually get into the video now. Okay, so as we go through the video, I will be showing you PvP techniques, and I'll on top of that show you actually how to do it alongside the gameplay so you can actually get onto it straight away. But just so you guys know, I'll be giving you guys more of an in-depth guide for every individual thing that I've mentioned in this video so that you can actually get each individual thing down packed. But for this video, we will be going through 5 things, so let's get into it. Okay, so the first one I'm actually going to tell you is about over tapping. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, when you do a tap attack when you're close range to someone, you know the animation where you literally hit them with a few punches, and then the last one is like an extended punch and it sends them to mid range where you have like that little gap in between you. In doing that animation, there's a way to cancel the animation. So if you played the game for a while, you probably noticed that sometimes people might back away from you, and if you've started that animation, you're unable to sidestep for that couple seconds. But there's a way to actually stop that from happening so that in case you do actually go for the tap and the enemy backs away from you or in a position where they vanish step against you, you can still actually move directly after doing that tap animation. So what I'm going to tell you to do is simply tap once. So when you actually go for the taps, tap once. Now you'd probably have like a second or two to decide whether you're going to extend the tap, but in the scenario the enemy actually vanish steps against you or backs up against you, you need to know that if you tap once, you'll be able to vanish step out of it or at least glide or connect another card immediately, because your character will go into a stationary position or at least activate the card that you've pressed immediately after. Number 2, this one is the easiest way to get a lot of big damage against your enemy, which will just get you W much faster. You want to win games fast, right? And you probably have a deck of cards, but you need to use them in the most optimal way. This here, you use your blue cards from long range. Now this doesn't apply for everybody because a lot of blue cards have close range animations where you move forward, but specifically those blue cards where you might have seen where they actually hit from long range. So Kamehameha, Final Flash, Big Bang Attack, Gallic Guns, you know what I'm saying? These literal long range blue cards would actually be very efficient, and there's a guaranteed way to land it if you are quick with your fingers. Now what I'm going to tell you to do is wait for the enemy to do a blast animation. Now if you are fast enough and you press the blue card, you could actually hit the blue card from long range through their blast attack, giving you a good amount of damage against them. You might have seen a lot with Ultra Goku Black Rose, considering that he's very prominent right now. A lot of people just hang around long range, they pop the green card, they get their blue card, and then they just throw a scythe at you. It's mad annoying, but it's very easy to do. Once you get this one down, you'd literally be way above a bunch of players because you'd actually be getting down a lot of their health much faster, which will actually lead to you getting faster games done as well, and you just win, which is the main thing you want. This on the list is actually my favorite out of everything I've told you. You're gonna see I use this a lot if you watch any of my live streams or my PvP gameplay showcases, etc. This one here is probably one of the easiest to do, but it might require you some practice to actually get on. But blast armor cancelling is what you're gonna be learning in this part of the video. Blast armor cancelling is basically when you use your blast armor to go through the enemy's blast attack, but you kind of force them to actually sidestep, which would allow you to actually get a guaranteed strike art off on them, or maybe a blast art, or at least you can get the vanish off out of them. It depends on what you want to do, but there's a very simple way to do it, and simply just when the enemy blast attacks, but it's about timing. Blast armor cancelling is the most fun, and the reason I'm putting this here more than anything else is because most of you guys will be summoning on units that are the most popular, Gogetas, Vegetos, especially in big celebrations, Rose, Tag Force. There's so many characters with blast armor in the game on their strike card. But with that being said, because most people would have the most hype characters, most of the hype characters have blast armor, so it's a good technique to have under your belt in the scenario playing PvP. Number 4, I'd say this one is a lot more prominent and probably more valuable than anything else I'm going to mention on the list. It's just not my personal favorite, but this one here, even if you are a regular player, add it to your gameplay and you'd become one of the best within a short amount of time, and I'm not joking. But gliding is such a big factor to the game, and you kind of have to reverse learn how you've played the game from when they teach you to play the game. So when you learn to play the game and you go through the tutorial, most of you guys are Dragon Ball fans, all of you guys probably, so you don't read or do anything like that. You just play the game and then you understand how to play the game. game. But you're probably very rigid with your fingers, so you probably just slide very hard. But if you guys know, if you don't swipe, you could actually float to the left, right, forward, backwards. You could float upwards towards the enemy, you could float backwards away from them, and you could float left or right to actually avoid things like blast tap attacks from long range. So using that, you could actually bait out your opponent to thinking that you're going to sidestep, and you'd actually be able to actually get the one up on them. Adding this to your playstyle, it really fakes out all opponents, even on the highest caliber. You could even fake me out, and I feel like some of you guys look up to me like I'm the greatest player, but I'm really not. But adding this to your playstyle, even when I see someone doing this at PvP ranks and God rank, I just be thinking, oh, this game's gonna be a long day. Because when people are gliding like that, you know they are a good player. They're most likely a very elite player, and they're going to be hitting you with the most oopsie daisy left or right glides, and you're going to press strike arts, and you're just not going to hit them. It's very hard to hit this type of player if they're using the gliding. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to show you on this list, and it's not really a technique, but it's more so just a piece of advice, but of course, depending on where you apply it in PvP, it's going to be very beneficial, is patience. You're gonna have to actually go ahead and reverse everything that you've done. You don't need to be so proactive with making plays when you're playing Dragon Ball Legends. You could actually just sit back and watch your opponent. I've explained this in my first PvP guide, where if you literally just sit back sometimes and observe your enemy, you'd actually be able to make better moves later on. If you're patient to see what they can do, you'd actually be able to know what type of player they are, so when they're playing later on, you'd be able to actually counter them in a certain way. So you know, okay, let's say if the person strike out straight away, you were patient but they went straight away, you know next time they're gonna go straight away most likely. At least twice. Most people go twice before they change a pattern, because 3 times is a bit too much, and I'm sure you can agree with that. They would actually go straight away the second time most likely, so then you would know not to be patient. But because you was patient at least once time, you'd actually be able to counter them the next time. But even outside of that, being patient in terms of not being too aggro, because then you could just get PV'd, perfect vanished a lot, you'd actually just be putting yourself in a bad position if you're not patient. Pressing cards like a maniac, you're just gonna put yourself in a bad position. So very much take your time when playing the game. You don't have to make the first move all the time. Switch it up, adapt to your enemy's playstyle. Being more patient will change your life when you're playing Dragon Ball Legends. It's not that serious, but at the same time, if you want to go to that next level, just take your time on the sidesteps. Take your time when you're watching your enemy attack. Let them sidestep more than you. They might sidestep 3 times before you've made 1 move. People are jumpy, and capitalize on that. Alright, so this one here is called frame trapping. You didn't expect the bonus one, but I'm bringing you guys a bonus tip. Frame trapping is easily the most effective way to actually land a powerful attack such as a blue card or ultimate, even a rising rush. The way you can do this is by using main abilities and green cards so that you can actually activate their action that was already being pending. So let me give you an example. When you tap a green card, let's use Ultra Gogeta Blue, his action, he just has a fancy animation and he gets damage inflicted or whatever he gets. But it's the fact that his animation activates when he presses the green card. In that time, the timer counts freeze and the game freezes, but you see their animation and it's really cool now that you actually break it down. But if the enemy was gonna sidestep in that moment, the action would actually activate immediately and you'd hear like the sidestep sound, which is why you should play your sound up, or you'd see the wind for them to sidestep. So one of those 2 things, probably both of those things. Sometimes the sidestep is silent, so make sure your eyes are keen, and then when they actually are sidestepping, it pretty much guarantees you to land one of your cards, whether it's a blue card, strike cards. Be wary of blast cards, because when you do them at close range, if the enemy has blast armor on their strikes, they could actually go through and that'll put you in a bad position. So definitely use frame trapping. It's probably the most easiest way to land powerful attacks. Rising rush, ultimate, special move. Pop a main ability when you think they're gonna sidestep, and then you actually can just get an attack off, especially if they're close range. If they're long range, you can get a long range blue, which ties in with what I spoke about earlier. So definitely take this one in. And if you get caught like this, you'll be thinking, what the hell, like I'm already in the animation, I can't do anything about it. And that's because you got caught, my guy. That's because you got caught. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully it was helpful. Let me know if any of these tips have actually made a difference for you immediately. I saw with my last guide that a lot of you guys commented that you literally had major improvements directly after watching the video, so I'm happy that I could help a lot of you guys. As always, if this did help you out, press the subscribe button if you're new here. Especially, we're on this grind to 50,000 subscribers, but I'm gonna leave the video like that, man. I appreciate you guys for watching. My name's Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.